I keep doing that. Like, you know the one. Oh, it's so hot in here. It's the heat. You know that one.
Hold on. I can't hear you. I don't think I do.
Oh,
Sorry.
well, I do. Like saying stuff like that, or someone will say, you say, "Oh, it's so sunny out there," and I say, "It's the sun." Um, but nobody gets it.
I'm sorry. That's got to be hard for you.
Can I send you an image in Zoom chat?
Ooh,
I'm
I've tried
about
it
to find out
before.
right now.
I know you can't do it on mobile.
Hmm. Well, that sucks. You can do it on here just fine. From Portlandia, it's Ted
Oh
Armisen. Oh, it's so hot. It's the heat, you know?
my gosh. It's the heat. Why couldn't I?
We revolution. Okay, Zoom, like, I know we've said it before. Why haven't, like, all other video chat systems been doing it like Zoom this whole time? Like, they've really,
Yeah.
yeah, they've leveled up the game and nobody else compares anymore. Skype used to be the
No,
best because
I was just
you
gonna
could
say.
do like doodles on the screen,
Yeah.
and that was so fun. But this
Yeah.
has everything.
Yeah. Zoom really doesn't miss very often, except for when sometimes you lose your recordings. But
Uh-huh.
I mean,
But they have
who isn't
like
using
it,
Zoom?
yeah, they
And
have
not
like
just out
8
of
billion
necessity.
recordings to keep track of. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's the only like fault in user interface.
Yeah.
I have no complaints about Zoom. Like none. I love them.
Yeah,
I'm not going to apologize
I
for that.
agree. Yeah. Anyway, but it's so hot. It's the heat.
And it's sunny, it's the sun.
It's the
That's
sun.
funny.
Yeah. Or it's like it to me it's like the same energy as like it's
It's
like a
that
sauna in
way.
here. And then they zoom out and they're like sitting in a sauna. It's like that.
I was kind of getting
Or like,
vibes of
yeah, you can tell
you can
it's sunny
tell
because of the
the
way
way
it
it
is.
is. Yeah. This is my apartment behind me. You see? It's my
Yeah.
couch and that's a TV and that's the kitchen right there
Uh-huh.
and that's the front door.
Huh.
Thank you. Thanks. Thanks.
I know. My house is behind me too, but in a more literal sense, where I'm sitting in front of my house.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yes.
Hmm. I'm gonna dox you now that you've shown your the outside of your house.
Yeah, I mean, you have already several times said the exact name of my hometown where I live and where my parents live. And it's a pretty identifiable house. So
I
I
mean,
feel like we're past that at this
if
point.
you find it, like, yeah, it's identifiable, but it's pretty well hidden. I've been there several
Yeah.
times. I, in fact, lived there for a while, and it took me about a
Yeah.
month before I was like, oh, yeah, no, that's right.
This is
I
definitely
go
the right
here.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
I mean,
think
there
you're
was that
safe.
guy who got his bagel doxxed, so I don't think anybody's safe anymore. I think it's just the way it is
Yeah,
now. This is the world that we live in. Someone can dox your
especially
bagel if they hate your vibe enough, and that's just how it is.
cancel culture.
Yeah,
Have you
ridiculous.
seen that there's this guy, he comes up on my YouTube shorts because I don't have TikTok. This is all I have is YouTube shorts. I don't even have
Yeah.
Instagram Reels. How sad is this? Um anyway, he's been coming up a lot. He's like a GeoGuessr guy, but he's the most amazing person I've ever seen in like ever. He can find anything. You know the meme of the guy in the yellow suit behind the tree? Like he
Yeah.
found where that is. He found the tree.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Anyway, I think if he wanted to, he could probably find your house pretty easily. But I think, yeah, I think most people that's out of their skill
Yeah.
set.
So we just have to
How are,
make sure that he never wants to, and then we'll be fine.
yeah, yeah, just
Yeah.
stay on his good side. Um, I would just like to take a moment today to talk about Bic pen again.
Oh,
I'm using blue today and not
everybody give it
gray.
up for
Yeah,
Big Pen.
please, please.
Big heads,
Standing
rise
ovation.
up. Yes. Yeah.
Amen.
Let's hear it
Amen.
louder, louder.
Yeah,
Big, big, big,
I-
big.
all week at work, I have tried 5,000 different pens. We've got a lot of different stationery that we can just use, by the way. That's like,
That's a perk of the
I
job.
lost my mind. Yes, it's been so
That's
fun. They also
wonderful.
gave us free notebooks. Look at this.
Ooh.
It's just free, like spiral
Whoa.
bound. Look, there's like, yeah, uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
I was also talking about this with one of the interns, and he's like, I wish we had like normal notebooks because like the notes section, if you'll see, this is the notes section. And then
Yes, I
this is
do see
like
that.
to do. He's like, the notes section is
Uh-huh.
so tiny. And I was like, my friend, you could just start over here and then just ignore the lines. And he's like, I don't think you can do that. And I thought that was pretty cute.
You're like, oh, but
Aw.
you can do anything that you want to. It's
Yeah,
okay.
you're not gonna get in trouble.
No, nobody has to
Hi.
know except for you, because it's your notebook now.
It's your notebook. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you
The
really want to
lines are
stay
really
within the
only,
line,
hmm,
just write a little bit smaller. Like
sure.
you're only
You can,
missing out on like two words. You know what I mean? You can just write a little bit
yeah,
smaller and they would all still fit.
absolutely. And you can take up as many pages as you need. That's
Yeah.
like, it's a whole notebook. You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
think there's much of a like if I looked at it on paper, if you were to ask me like, is there much of a difference between like 20 and 25? I'd say like probably not really. But now that I'm working again with a bunch of 20-year-olds and I am 25, not
Yeah.
to sound like,
Say
like I know everything, even though I do. Um, but like
there's a big difference.
there's a big
Yeah.
difference.
There's a
There's a
huge
big
difference.
difference, you might say.
You might.
Like you might, maybe.
Okay, think about it. I'm not saying what you should or shouldn't say, but I'm just saying that you could say that.
Hypothetically,
If you
just as
wanted to,
you
you
can
could say
ignore the
that. It'd
lines
be
if you
okay.
wanted to, you could say anything you want.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's very funny. It's funny now, and I'm hoping that it will stay funny and it won't get annoying. Gosh, this cat just ran under my chair and bonked his little head so hard on the little metal pole. Oh,
Oh,
could you hear that in the
no,
audio at
but
all?
I can imagine it. I'll add like a really good bonk sound
It
in
was
post.
the bunk sound, like as stereotypical a bunk sound that you can think of. That's what it sounded like, and I felt it too. I felt the little thump. Perfect, and he's okay.
That's
He's
so
not. He
funny.
didn't even cry, so we can laugh
No, of
at it.
course not. Cats are
Yeah,
like, yeah, basically indestructible. Their bodies are made of
yeah,
liquid.
yeah. And goo. I push
Yeah, they
like
only
when I'm
have
petting
heads,
them. Yeah, head.
and even the heads are like pretty
It's
malleable.
mostly
You know what
fur,
I mean?
so
Yeah.
like you squash it down, and it's like, oh, it's so much smaller than I thought it was gonna be. I didn't send you. I haven't sent you the video yet, but I told you a couple days ago I was going to send you a video of Archie and his emotional support shoelace.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. He's he took a nap with it today.
Oh,
It's very cute.
that's
And
so
a little
good.
patch of sunshine on his cat post.
Yeah. Aw.
Yeah.
Ian was
Yeah.
playing with our kitties the other day, and he was wearing like sweatpants that dangle, and they have a little aglet at the bottom, of course,
Hmm.
very similar to a shoelace. And so one of them was like playing with it and batting it, whatever, and he like got up to move, and the cat like freaked out. It was like crying and like, no, give it back! Like
That's so
scrambling
cute.
after it, trying to reach, and he was like, it's an aglet. Like it doesn't
They must have
matter.
watched that episode of Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah, they're like, don't forget it.
Yep. Hmm. I've seen people like put on shows for their cats and they have favorites.
Mhm.
And we watched Chicken Run and Flush Away yesterday. And they
Yeah.
were watching, but they don't think they were terribly impressed. So I'm gonna try
Mhm.
showing them Phineas and Ferb today and see how they like it.
Oh, okay, that would be good. They might relate
Yeah.
more to like a more human uh cast of characters,
Yeah, yeah.
Like chickens and
Like
mice, they might be like, why
and
am I
rats.
watching this instead of chasing them in real life?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, should we talk about Flushed Away, do you think?
Yeah, I guess we probably could. Since we've been like we've been flirting with the idea for quite a while now, it's probably about time.
Okay, I remember sewer from yesterday, and I remember
Yeah.
the M that I sent you last night at 1 in the morning.
Yeah, Mike be warned, which is awesome. I like that one
And
a
I
lot.
mean it.
Yeah.
Yeah. hmm
I think T
And I
was
don't
for the
remember.
toad.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And then E, like we were trying to think of like a a third noun. So it can be like three nouns and then Mike be warned. But the only things we
hmm
could think of were in fact adjectives.
Yeah.
So that's something.
Okay. I'm just gonna list some things from the movie and see if this jogs any E names. We have Hugh
Okay. Well,
Jackman.
England.
Oh,
It's in England.
it sure is. Yeah.
But yeah, Hugh Jackman is in it. And he has like a passable British accent, but he is like obviously not, you know what I mean? Like all the other characters, you're like, okay, sure, yep.
hmm I like,
He has just like a few words now and then that are just not from Kensington.
yeah, but like, genuinely, it's not bad.
Yeah.
As someone who has heard several really bad British accents, like, and I love her, and I love the performance, and I love the film, but Natalie Portman in V for Vendetta, bad,
Oh,
bad accent.
yeah.
It's not good at
Not good.
all. Her vocal coach
No.
should have been fired.
Yeah,
It's not
it
good.
was not good.
No. And that's disappointing because literally every other element of her performance was like,
Yeah, like she's great in that movie. She
yeah,
just like, yeah, not a great dialect for sure.
no, no. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think they just should have had her do a different accent. Maybe she could
Yeah.
have been American. Like that could have
And
been
they're like, I promise
added in
this will
an
be less
element.
distracting. Just let her be
Yeah,
American. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like Hugh Jackman, you did okay. I wouldn't give it
Yeah.
100%
Pretty
perfect
good.
performance, but,
No.
but
But he
like
passes for sure.
no, and unless I'm really paying attention, I don't notice. I watch a lot of
Mhm.
British TV. It just kind of slides under. Like
Yeah. You're like, oh, he's just
if
probably
I'm
from
not
some like
on,
small town that I don't, you know, I'm
yeah,
not
he's
familiar with
pretty
their
okay.
dialect. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Um, I did see that, and maybe I should wait to do this, except I'm not going to. I'm already opening it up. I saw
Uh-huh.
the most insane take about this movie. I actually will wait until we talk about it with Mike's Mike thing, but
Okay.
I need to
That
send it to
like
you now.
he like can't join the Zoom room for another 30 minutes. So we're like, we're not going to talk about it until we can talk about it with Mike, like with him.
Yeah, guest star. We just invite him on to just beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. For our 20 subscriber celebration, we're inviting Mike to join us. And
Yeah.
all the subscribers are people that we personally know or men from India. And so they also like just don't really care about Mike. Like there's no reason for him to be the one that's there,
hmm
but we just invite him anyway.
Yeah. I do think at this point we're very nearly 50% Indian subscribers. What a
Yeah.
great, wonderful hi to all our new subscribers. We love
Hi.
you.
It's such an
This is great.
awesome thing. Like it's absolutely not the demographic that you expect,
Mm-mm.
like on paper or like surface level, but it makes a lot of sense.
It does. We talk about a lot of Indian movies.
Yeah. And we're gonna
This is
talk
our
about more
God-given
because
right.
every Indian movie that we talk about, we get a new like comment like, "Oh, you should watch these too." So, of course, we're just going to keep doing that. I think like subscribers are gonna pretty soon match the actual content of the channel, where it's like 50% like Western movies or even just like non-Indian movies from literally anywhere in the world, and then
Yeah.
50% Indian movies.
Good. That's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that'd be good. We got to keep up with yeah, what the
Uh-huh.
people want.
Yeah. The public demands.
Hmm.
We have no control over it. That does, and I am a little bit concerned, honestly, about like I do feel like sometime at some point we might have to talk about Virata Parvam.
Hmm.
Like,
I think that's another one that we've
and
been dancing around for a while, more and
yeah, we
more.
need to
Maybe
mentally
we can
prepare
pick
ourselves
like a
if we start
yeah,
preparing now.
yeah, if we start preparing now, maybe we pick like we do actually like a certain number of subscribers like celebration, you know what I mean? Just pick a number and then once we get
Yeah.
there, we drop the Virata Parvam video.
What a wild, insane movie that is that I think about constantly. And I would never ever talk about to anyone in real life.
I mean, we could
I
pick
did
like a super
say
high number and then there's always a chance that we never reach it and then we never have to talk about it.
that's
But it's
true.
always the plan. Like it's not like we're refusing to talk about it. It's just that we haven't reached our goal yet, you know?
We haven't reached
That's kind of a
100
sneaky
million
little thing.
subscribers.
100 million.
I did think 50 because in my head that is equally unattainable.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Was it back in the day it was Julian Smith who wanted to reach 1,000? That was his like big thing.
Yeah.
That could be
Yeah.
our that seems like Julian Smith in the beginning of YouTube and us now have about the same like 1,000 feels equally unattainable.
Yeah. We
So I
have
think that
to
could be our
like
goal. When we reach
do a
1,000
kidnapping stunt.
subscribers, yeah,
Okay.
we'll
Well, let's say
we'll talk about
1,000.
it. Yeah. Deal.
Good.
Ew. Your own hand. And that's a
Um,
flushed away reference, baby.
it sure is.
So basically, Flushed Away is a movie about a rat who's a pet of a posh English child.
Named
And then
Tabitha, who could have been
yes.
the T.
Oh yeah. But she's a little
Sh-
less significant than the toad.
Slightly less.
Just only slightly. It's like
Only a little
they're
bit.
neck and neck.
I
Um,
did put for the E English rats.
oh good. Yes.
So,
Perfect.
yeah.
Sewer, the toad, English rats, Mike's Mike. Be warned. Um, essentially, so Tabitha like goes out of town and while with her parents because she's like probably 8.
Yeah, little.
Um, so while she's gone, Roddy, the main character who's a rat, his house
He is a
gets
rat.
like broken into by another rat from the sewer, and
Whose
then
name is
who
Sid.
then his name is Sid, and Sid pushes Roddy into the toilet and flushes him down so that they can switch lives. And then Roddy's whole adventure is like trying to find his way back up top to his home with Tabitha. But then over
Mhm.
time he learns about the value of community, um,
And family and
and family.
connections and
Yes.
integrity.
Yeah, love and friendship and whatever, blah blah blah, boring stuff. And so then he decides to stay in the sewer. That's where he belongs because he's a posh English rat.
Yeah. He's wearing a suit
Yeah. Yeah.
and he's voiced by Hugh Jackman. There are like so many. Okay, so a lot of what we're going to cover has been covered in the Mike's Mike video where he talks about the rat era of
Uh-huh.
cinema. And
Which
we've
is frankly the best era. Like,
it was a really good era. Yeah.
yeah.
Rats are underrated, underappreciated. And frankly, we should have 1,000 movies about them a year. I mean that. Yeah.
So for any,
Um,
big producers who are watching this, what are you waiting for? We need more
mhm.
rat movies and we need them now.
The public is clamoring for them. All 20 of our subscribers.
More rats, more rats, more rats. There's half of them saying more rats, and the other half are saying pick, 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 pick. Because we have to have like kind of balance and everything, you know.
Right, yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll also do rats, bick, and then we'll like join
Rat,
forces
pick,
together.
pick. Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, this is such a funny movie. It's an
Yeah.
Aardman production. Of course it's going to be funny. Of course it's going to be clever.
Yeah.
It doesn't get the acclaim that it deserves,
Yeah,
frankly.
like everyone knows Chicken Run and Wallace and Gromit, and
Yeah.
rightfully so. Those are
Yeah.
masterpieces, of
Yeah.
course.
Hmm.
But then I feel like in applauding these movies, which again is you should do that, Flushed Away kind of gets like ignored.
Swept under the rug. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's not
And
fair.
that's a shame. No, it's not fair.
Yeah.
And so
No.
we're trying to bring justice back into the world by talking
Hmm.
about Flushed Away.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
I kind of wanted to say too, like I never watched this movie as a kid. We had Chicken Run on VHS, and I watched that one, I mean, just constantly. That was one of my
Of course.
favorites, again, for good reason. But
Yeah.
at the beginning of that one, because it was an Aardman production, it had an ad for Flushed Away playing at the front of it. And
Uh-huh.
like I I didn't watch the movie for the first time until I was older, probably like I don't know, even 15, 16.
Hmm.
Hi, do you want to come up here? And like there are a couple lines from the trailer that made me laugh every single time. Every
Yeah.
single time. Like the when Sid is gonna push Roddy into the toilet and he's like, I think we're gonna get along great. And then his voice drops like 2 octaves and he says, Be seeing you, my friend. Why does his voice do
Yeah.
that? It drops
Because it's
so
funny.
low. Very funny. And then the second one, and this, I mean, genuinely leveled me as a kid. It was so, so funny. Was when Andy Circus Rat and Bill Nighy's Rat, because they're both in
Yeah.
this movie. We'll talk about
Yeah.
the cast in a minute, but when they're falling, and Andy Circus says, "Keep your legs straight when you hit the water." Bill Nighy's Rat like keeps his legs straight and it goes into the water, and then Andy Circus Rat just lands on the concrete next to the water,
And
and
he
he
like
says, "I kept my legs
crumples.
straight, Spike."
I kept my legs straight, Spike. They're so good. They're like, you talk about henchmen. These are the henchiest of all
They're
men.
so henchy.
They're so
They're
funny.
so henchmen.
Yeah.
Yeah. The white
And they
one,
even fit
Whitey,
like the
mhm,
physical stereotypes of like one who's kind of small and skinny and scrawny
scrinkly even.
and scrinkly. He's actually quite scrinkly. And then
He's
one
really
who's
scrinkly.
just massive.
Yeah.
But he's like a teddy bear. That's
Yeah,
nice.
exactly. I was gonna
Yeah.
say he gives off a lot of Kronk vibes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I love that. I love having seven, and then we have a lot of different types of villain in this movie. We have, the classic English villain, the Toad, who's diabolical. We
Yes.
have Spike, who's like manic and
Yeah.
like wants so badly to be evil, but is just genuinely incompetent. We've got Whitey, who's just kind of in it for the money. You think he's not really evil? He's just like that's his
Or he doesn't
boss.
want
This
to
is
be
his job.
evil. Yeah, I
No,
think he just
he loves
has
a
like
happy ending.
these are just the people that he knows, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like genuinely not a bad bone in his body. We've got evil but lazy LaFrog. He's
Hmm.
French. And he's
Yeah, he's
like,
super French.
and I love him
He
because
has a bunch
he
of
like he's a bad
French,
guy.
he has French henchmen, for
Frenchman.
short, Frenchmen. And yeah, they're very funny.
So funny. But what about dinner?
We leave in 5 hours.
5 hours. Funny. That's good. Also,
Yeah,
same voice
that's
actor
funny.
for LaFrog is in Ratatouille as
Hmm.
the inspector's like DNA test guy. You know him?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pro tip.
He loves to play French characters in movies about rats.
He does.
That's what
Yeah.
we've learned today.
He fits into that genre of actors who really find their niche, like
Yeah.
the one
Yeah.
lady who plays all of the
Who
evil
always plays the
stepsisters.
stepsister. Yeah.
Yeah. Or that one guy who, and this is crazy. He plays okay, you know that one episode of Psych? Um, Nine Lives where they find the little boy cat from in the apartment of the guy who killed himself. You know that?
Hmm.
You know the evil guy, oh, not the evil guy, but like the bad guy, the serial killer who's been doing it. He plays the same type of serial killer in two other shows. It's the same. It's the same thing. In an episode of Criminal Minds, he's
Hmm.
also like posing people as posing deaths as suicides, and he does the
Uh-huh.
same thing in Bones.
Huh.
That's
I guess he's
three.
like, yeah, I just have one of those faces, so my agent keeps sending me these roles, and
So
I
specific.
that's so
Yeah.
funny.
That actually, I have a beef with that type of episode as well, or that type of like, why do they do it? Why do they do it?
I
Like,
don't know, like
if they're
for
like,
funsies, I guess.
no, the people. He's like, swallow these pills or I'll shoot you. And like, I don't know, but
Right, so he's like, so shoot me then.
yeah, because then they'll know it's a murder
Yeah,
instead of
yeah.
posing me as a suicide. I don't like,
I don't
I
know.
don't,
It's like the illusion of choice.
and the thing is, and I don't want, okay, the thing about Sherlock is that they did this in the first episode.
Yeah, they
And
did with the
they
taxi driver.
with the taxi driver, yeah, but they gave a pretty good reasoning as to why they would actually do it instead of just being shot.
Hmm.
And it's that they think they could beat him at his own game
Yeah,
by like because
yeah,
there's two pills. So like that
yeah.
makes
So it's like
sense.
a
Like there's
game
a
instead of it just
chance.
being like, here's one pill that's definitely poisoned, or I shoot you. Then there's like no
Hmm.
chance to win, so you might as well just get shot, and then people know that you were shot instead of killing
Yeah,
yourself. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So
It's a good
show writers,
question.
cop procedurals, if you're looking for ideas, don't be doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Hmm. And but if you do, hire that guy. He's really good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just has one of
Anyway.
those faces, I guess.
Yeah. Mm. Um, okay. It's Flushed Away. It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
there's like a Greek chorus type thing that happens throughout this movie, but the chorus is made of slugs,
slugs.
slugs from the sewer.
Slugs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slugs.
And they
Very funny.
sing like some beautiful a cappella hits throughout the course of the movie, really.
Really good songs, you might say. Hmm?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite is the one about eating maggots.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, my favorite is they just have the instrumental for Are You Gonna Be My Girl? They don't play any of the
Mm,
song, but they play the instrumental while Roddy's going through the sewer. And I think
that's
that's
true.
good. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. They also Roddy sings a cute little song about Rita while he's being
Yeah.
pulled behind her
That was
boat
going to
on
be
a
my
floaty
next
duck.
mention. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cute.
That's
There's a
another
lot
one
in
that
this
I get
movie
in my
where
head a
like
lot. Like if there's something in my head that is not Red
Eat
Eye Flashes
Randy.
Twice or Eat Randy, it's probably Ice Cold Rita. Never did I meet a girl who's half so cruel. That's so good.
It's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Um, yeah, good music. Phenomenal cast.
Hmm.
Like we've talked a lot about hiring um popular like movie actors to do voice acting and how it's
Hmm.
like a little bit
Sometimes it's
you're
like
just
there could have been obviously a better choice of somebody who's a voice actor, but
hmm
the producers are going for somebody like with more recognizable name. And then it's like,
hmm
how is this other person's name ever going to be recognized if they're not hired for jobs that they would be better at than these people, right?
yeah.
But sometimes it's just genuinely like kind of a treat to be like, oh, that's Bill Nye, you know?
Yeah, he's a white rat henchman.
Yeah.
This was his first voice acting role
He's
too.
bald.
And this, I'm gonna say this too. This movie is the reason, and I'll say that later, but this movie is the reason that we have Rango, because this was his first voice acting role. Bill Nye
Mm.
then went on to voice Rattlesnake Jake.
Rattlesnake Jake.
Yeah.
So think about that. Hmm.
Uh-huh. If we
Yeah.
didn't have Flushed Away, we wouldn't have Rattlesnake Jake. Flushed Away is a masterpiece on its own, but it deserves an
Yeah.
additional Oscar for that reason.
Yeah. For
And I'll say
opening
this,
the
and
door for Bill Nye.
for Bill Nye. We love you, Bill Nye. Everything you've ever done has touched my heart. We have Whitey. We have Rattlesnake Jake. We have
Uh-huh.
Vincent Van Gogh Museum Director. Number one in my
Yes.
heart forever.
Yes.
Okay?
Forever and ever. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's
Mm-hmm.
not even to mention that he plays the dad. Need I say more?
No.
I mean, what?
Yeah. Bill
Yeah.
Nye, number one super fans right here. We love
Yeah.
you. We love you. Um, the additional thing I was gonna say is that Flushed Away is, I think, a spiritual cousin to Rango. They're both like structurally very similar. We have Pet gets forced suddenly into a situation that he's kind of underprepared for.
Hmm.
Um, and then suddenly grows to fill that role, and Bill Nye is there.
Yeah. Think about it. They're one and the same.
Yes.
It's the same picture.
Yep. Two sides of the same coin, baby.
Hmm.
Yeah, they both complement each
Yeah.
other so well. Neither one is better. Just good. All the way around. We've got Bill Nye, we've got Andy Serkis, who I've been like he's been rolling around my head this morning. I texted
Hmm.
you a couple times about him because apparently like I thought I knew a good amount of things that he's been in and done because he's just like I love him very much. He's a very talented actor, and I've literally always said that. But
Yes, that's
this
true. I
morning I
can
was going
attest.
through his yeah. I'm literally never shutting up about Andy Serkis. But going through his IMDb page, like why did no one tell me that he was Snoke in the Star Wars sequels?
Yeah. Well, it's
He's
because nobody likes to talk about the
Caesar.
Star Wars sequels, I think.
No, obviously not. No one likes to talk about Snoke. It's a bit of a sore subject anyway. But
Yeah.
it was Andy Serkis's performance of Snoke, flawless.
Hmm. Yeah.
You can't like criticize it at all. It's really good because it's Andy Serkis. He
Yeah.
did the motion capture for Caesar from the Planet of the Apes, none of which I've seen, but I'm going to now because that's Andy Serkis and I love him. He was also King Kong. Why, like, you know, I didn't even think that they did that. Why did they feel like they had to do motion capture for King Kong when they could have just CGI'd him? But they did, and like they were like,
Hmm.
we're gonna do this because Andy Serkis agreed to do it. They did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was the right decision,
And like, yeah,
obviously.
who else are you gonna? That's like his thing. He's gonna play a beast that's physically weird.
Beast. Or a
He's
creature,
really
maybe.
good at that. Like you see him in real life, and he's a man. Like he's normal. He walks
Yeah.
normal. But
Yeah.
then all of his characters are like creepy. He's so good at that.
He's
Yeah.
the motion capture guy.
He's hit his niche.
He has, but he doesn't even like restrict himself to it because he also played um Alfred in the Batman.
Yeah.
And he killed that. Because obviously he did. He was in like he's played several roles in Star Wars. He was Snoke, but he was also in Andor, and he killed that. Like, what can he
Yeah.
not do?
The
I love
age-old
him.
question. Is there anything? I think that his mission is kind of to, over the course of his life, answer that question. Is there anything that Andy Serkis cannot do? He's like, well, let's find out.
And the answer is consistently not. I mean, not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm probably gonna have to do this for every actor that I talk about. Like, just absolutely gush about them because also, Sir Ian McKellen is the
Yeah.
villain in this movie.
Yeah. Everyone take a moment of silence to ponder that fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only is he in this movie, and this goes for every single person. Again, even especially for Hugh Jackman, who maybe didn't give the best. I mean, I would give it a 90%.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty good
He's at an
as
A
in terms of
minus.
his
It
accent.
definitely passes.
Yeah. And I mean, he consistently enjoy this was also his first voice acting role. And he went back to do it again and again because he's pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Like, he's a big name, but also he delivers, and that goes for all of these actors, is they're not just big name actors. They give voice acting performances. Sir Ian McKellen, he didn't get the role and read, oh, frick, I've got to do like this dumbass toad villain. Like, what even is
Mhm.
his motivation? I don't care about it's just for a stupid kids movie. I'm just gonna phone the performance in. No, he didn't do that.
No.
He go like this is what a serious actor does. Are you hearing me, Prabhas? You know, don't say I'm not
Yeah.
going to sing and dance because I'm a serious actor. Sir Ian McKellen, are you saying he's not a serious actor because he goes, "Oh, my little baby rocks, do you love your daddy so much? I'm going to destroy this whole world for you." That's like he does
Yeah.
that.
That's funny. Well,
Funny.
he's very funny. And I think most of the time we see him in these more serious roles, and so we forget that he really has a head for comedy. Like he's quite funny.
Really good comedic timing. Yeah.
And I don't know why people so often separate the two. Like people were shocked that Jordan Peele was making horror, and it's like, well, yeah, like funny people can also be like really good at doing serious stuff, and the other way around. Like all of these things are connected. The
Yes. If High School
the
Musical
like
taught us anything, it's that you can have more than one interest.
exactly. And also like they're not even that different. Like the skills that you pick up in
Hmm.
like comedy, for example, will then help you in more serious stuff because you understand timing and you understand
Yeah.
playing with emotion and like all of these things go together.
Yeah.
And playing
Yeah.
baseball is not that different from dance. There's a lot
No,
of
it's
physical
not.
coordination involved. There's some, perhaps
Absolutely.
teamwork,
Yeah.
etc. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah, you need to have good balance. You
hmm,
need to have like you don't need to be like physically big or buff, but you need to be dexterous. You need to have like a kind of
yeah,
lean strength. And I think you need to be bi.
I think that's probably true. The most important thing that we could learn from this whole episode, if you can, it's it's better to be bisexual. It'll just work out better for you. So everybody go home and work on that. Just, you don't have to, but it helps.
Uh, and if you can, while you're doing that, just probably watch through all of Andy Serkis's IMDb page. You'll
Mhm.
feel better for it.
Yeah.
He's also in 13 going on 30.
Yeah, like again, is there anything he cannot do? Not yet.
The answer is no. Yeah. Yeah, I love him. Um, yeah. Emily Blunt Coated Mouse.
That sounds right. I don't know. We
Yeah,
watched
she's
that
voiced
video when we were at Allison's second wedding and we were afraid of being
in San
pancaked
Diego.
in the Murphy bed, so you know,
Yeah.
memory doesn't quite serve.
No, but I remember that you watched it like you started at like 10 minutes ahead of me. And so then like you,
I feel like there's a really great part coming up. Just wait.
yeah, and so I'd giggle and you'd be like, "Where are you at? Is it this part?" And I was like, "Yes, it's that part." It was a
Yeah,
that was a lot of
yeah.
fun.
If you really want to bond with somebody, just sit on the same bed together, all nice and cozy, and one of you start a YouTube video and then the other one start it later. Don't watch together. That's
No,
ridiculous.
yeah, absolutely not. We have two phones. We're gonna watch them at two separate times.
Yeah, like I'm watching my video on my phone. It just happens to also be the same video that you're watching on your phone at a different time. And
Yeah, the one criticism that I see come up about this movie again and again is that the animation looks kind of weird, and this is
Mhm,
because the plasticine that they use for the claymation animation style doesn't work well with water. Like you
mhm.
can't. So they were like,
And there
"Well,
are
we
several
gotta,"
scenes with water because of how he's flushed
because he's
away.
flushed away. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
And like you can tell that it's not the same style as Chicken Run, But
Yeah.
again, I don't notice.
Yeah, I don't, it doesn't, it's not that weird to me. It
No,
doesn't take me out
like,
of the movie. It's just like a different style. Like, you don't have to
yeah,
love every animation style.
no, just
But I
like
think it's
lose
fine.
yourself in the movie. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. And
I
that's
can suspend my disbelief.
specifically directed towards Mike's Mike. Oh, the
A lot of this
animation
is
is
going
a
to be
little
specifically
weird. You do it then. Yeah, here's the thing. We love the channel. We love the stuff this
we
guy's doing. He's very
yeah.
interesting. He has a great personality, it would seem. The thing
He
is
doesn't
that if
miss
we
about
have
99% of his takes.
exactly, but if we have one criticism, it's like you should rewatch Flushed Away and open your heart and mind
Hmm, hmm.
and
Do it with a
experience
better
childlike wonder
mindset,
and joy, and then,
or else. Yeah. I
then you'll
mean,
have a better time.
he has never fumbled so badly. It was
No,
genuinely embarrassing. It is
it
so
was a
sad to go back and
devastating take.
watch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, everything about it was horrible
because
because
he's
he's
right
like,
about the other ones. I'm like,
yeah,
okay, I agree. Yeah.
Alvin and the Chipmunks, 3 to 10, don't piss me off. That's funny and
Mhm.
correct.
Mhm. Funny and correct.
This one,
Most of the time, he's funny and correct. This time,
funny, wildly incorrect. He said the
no.
music in this movie is bad because it's old and
Never been more
outdated.
wrong. Old and
Absolutely
outdated.
not.
Old and
Absolutely not.
outdated. And then
What
here's the
is
thing.
wrong
He
with you?
likes Pitch Perfect.
He likes Pittsburgh, and like he
So
loves
it's like, how can
campy,
you like
kitschy
Pitch
movies.
Perfect? Yeah. And then be like, oh, this music is so outdated. It's Jet. They're playing Jet in this movie. That's not
That's
outdated.
Jet.
It's classic rock, thank you.
I'm gonna pull up.
That song came out
Hold
in
on.
2009. Like at the time that the movie was made, like that was like a very new song, you know? And then they use some other ones that are a little bit older, but then that's like funny because it's like a callback to some other thing,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Like I felt like
Okay.
the music choices outside of the slugs that are like original pieces, the other music choices were like pretty consistently good. Like they made sense and they
Because
fit
you
the
know
movie.
why? They're classics. Here's what we've
Hmm.
got. We have Dancing with Myself by Billy Idol. We have Jets.
Yeah,
Are You
how
Gonna Be
how are
My
you
Girl?
gonna
We have
say
Tom Jones
Billy
as She's a
Idol?
Lady. Billy Idol?
How are you gonna say that Billy
Outdated?
Idol and Tom Jones are like boring and outdated?
We have What's New Pussycat. We have Mr. Lonely. We have Proud Mary. That's the song the movie ends on. You're going to look me
Hmm.
in the eyes and you're going to tell me that this soundtrack is outdated, that those are old, instead of the fact that they're oldies and
Old,
classics.
exactly. Old does
Proud
not have to be
Mary.
synonymous with outdated. Old can just be classic or just old. That's fine.
I like,
It's
I
okay.
feel genuine bloodlust. Mike's Mike, you bitch. I am never going to forgive him for that.
No.
So
And
seriously, from the
that's
bottom of my
okay.
heart.
I don't think you have to.
He, no,
I think that's
because
fine.
like we can move past it. I'm not going to forgive. I'm not going to forget. But like, and a relationship has changed. I'm not going to lie to you. But you know, no,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean he doesn't
It's
still
not,
make good videos sometimes.
yeah.
And that's his most recent one was about Scooby Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed and how it's the most perfect movie in the world. And I haven't seen it, but like I love that he's willing to make those takes and say, "Hey, you guys remember this movie from our childhood? It's like actually so good and here's why." And I don't care about the fact that it's like cheesy or like a little bit kitsch because that's what makes
Yeah.
it good. This movie runs on
Yeah.
mashups and vibes. And he's right for that.
And
So
then
where did this
but
one
you're
come
not gonna
from?
give the same credit to Flushed Away. Yeah. Make it
Yeah.
make sense,
A movie
Mike.
that is genuinely
Michael.
funny in every way.
Hmm.
Michael S. Microphone. Rethink some things, okay? I've seen a lot
Mhm.
of people too criticize that it's based on like kind of potty humor. It's like a rat gets flushed down the toilet.
Yeah.
What like if you don't want potty humor, go somewhere else.
Yeah. And it's
What
also
literally
like
what were you expecting?
it's mostly not though. Like the premise is like, well,
No.
rats live in the sewer, so he has to get to the sewer. And then there's like maybe one or two other jokes
Mm,
that have anything to do with toilet humor. Like the rest is just like funny outside of, you know what
and
I mean?
genuinely clever. Yeah.
Like it's not like it's
And
gonna spoil the whole movie for you to have to listen to like two jokes about a toilet or something. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter.
yeah,
There's like
no.
one fart joke.
We've seen Despicable, and
And
it's
it
like
is
funny
funny.
too. It's not even
Yeah.
like, no, because it's Bill Nye. I saw
Yeah.
an opportunity.
There's no opportunity. And I seized it. My mom says that.
That that's funny. If Antonia is quoting a joke, you know it's like a good quality joke.
Hmm.
Yeah. Or the
She has a sophisticated sense of humor,
she really does. Hi,
right?
Antonia. One of my favorite parts in the movie is aside from the lines that were also in the trailer that raised me,
Hmm.
um, is the scene where Rita makes it down from the top of the like rafter thing effortlessly, and Roddy's like, I could probably do that. And so he tries, and then he like, I mean, falls, flops,
Yeah, he gets
crashes
killed
right
12 times.
every single time on the way down.
Yeah, it's so bad.
And then he says, like,
Nobody's ever done it worse.
no. And I'm sorry, physical humor is just so funny.
It
He
is funny.
like he lands with a pole between his legs like 15 times. The same thing happened with Mike Wazowski in Monsters Inc. That shit like gets me.
And that's
That's
funny. That is
funny.
funny. Sorry,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah. I like what else is there to say? It's we've got the same level of humor
Hmm.
as you can expect from an Armin film. We have a few like I guess you could say unsophisticated jokes that kids can laugh at, but also it's like a your mom joke. Literally, when is that not funny? It can
Yeah.
be unfunny if you say it in a not funny way, but a well-placed your mom joke, a well-placed
Hmm.
fart joke, a well-placed kick to the nuts, like that's going to
Funny.
hit regardless of age. There you go.
Yeah,
If Flushed Away
exactly.
understands that. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So we have
Yeah.
killer cast, we have good humor, animation style that is a little controversial, but I think everybody else should just suck it up and embrace it because it's totally fine.
Hmm. Yeah, it's not that bad.
Um, no, it's Aardman. Like that's it looks like an
Yeah.
Aardman movie, and if they had to do CGI for that, like
Yeah, like they're not gonna
whatever they
compromise
need to
their
do.
art style. They're like,
No.
you know what I mean? Like so many things could have happened. Like they say, oh, the plasticine doesn't really work with water, so I guess we could just toss this and try a different movie. You know what I mean? They're committed to
Hmm.
the vision of the movie and they're committed to the vision of like their claymation style. So even if it's
Yep,
not
yep, yep, yep.
claymation, they're still gonna do their best to make it seem that way. Because they have, I
Yes.
don't know, integrity, I guess.
Something like that. Maybe. We
Just
also
something
have
to think about, Michael.
hmm,
Hmm.
hmm, hmm. Um, the other thing, and you pointed this out to me, and then going back and rewatching it again yesterday, I noticed again at the beginning after because Roddy he lives alone in a big, beautiful penthouse apartment. And again, with the human family is usually there. They're on vacation at the moment. And he's like, "Yay, I have the run of the house. This is awesome." So he plays golf. He has like a little movie night. Oh, this is another one of those things that like it shouldn't be as funny as it is, but
Yeah.
physically, like I I choke every time is when he's at the like drive-in theater that he's made with his little blonde doll date, and he's like
Yeah.
having a good time, darling, and he throws up a big piece of popcorn and he puts his head back like this, and it just like fits in his mouth. He goes,
He has to tear her arm off to pat his back to get the popcorn out of his throat so he doesn't die. Choking
so
on one piece of
funny.
popcorn because he's a little baby animal.
His mouth opens so wide and the popcorn is so big. It
It
shouldn't be
is
as funny
very
as it is.
funny.
And it kills me every time. That also happens in Rango. Not the exact situation, but he does use the arm of the doll that he's been, kept in
Oh,
containment with to pat himself on the back. Just in case you were
yeah,
wondering.
that's true.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, so he said after he's settling down for the night, he gets all cozy in his bed and he's like, "Good night." And it echoes all throughout the house back at him. And he's like, "Ah." Good night, Roddy, he says to himself.
Yeah.
And now, if any of you own rats as pets, you know it's not good to keep them in isolation. If you're going to get pet rats, you need to have at least two because they're not happy by themselves.
Mhm.
And this movie grasps that concept. This rat is lonely, and that
Yeah.
makes him a little weird.
Yeah, he becomes strange because he's rich and lonely. And that probably
Yep.
doesn't mean anything. It's probably
Not
only
much.
through a rat.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah.
like in Brother Bear when Kenai gets turned into a bear and he doesn't know how to bear socialize. And
Uh-huh.
everyone else is like, I mean, you can hang, man, but you're like, be normal.
There's
What's wrong
something
with
wrong
you?
with you, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And he just like doesn't know how to act appropriately for his species. This is like that too. Roddy's a rat, technically, but
Yeah. But
not
he's not very good
socially.
at it. Yeah.
No, he's pretty bad at being a rat. For
Yeah,
the
he
first part of the movie
is.
anyway. He gets better at it. Yeah.
He gets because
Sorry.
he learns
Hmm.
it through um meeting Rita and her family and like understanding
Yeah.
what real community and love and friendship are like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more beef that I have with Mike's like review of this movie that annoys
Hmm.
me is in his Shark Tale video, which is an objectively worse movie than this one. I still enjoyed it.
Uh-huh.
I watched it a lot growing up. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I'm glad he covered it in a positive light. But in that one,
Yeah.
he sees the screens in underwater Times Square and he's like,
That's
that kind of ate a little
unrealistic.
bit. No, and in this one,
Yeah.
in Shark Tale, he's
He's
like,
it's
I love
unrealistic, but he's
that.
into it. But then in Flushed Away, it's
Yes.
unrealistic and he's not into it.
He's like,
And
why do
there's
you
not
have
even water.
screens under there? There's not even water.
There's water
And
on like
sorry,
yeah,
it makes complete sense that they would have it. They're
whatever.
rats. They steal things. They're just squirreling away technology naturally. Why wouldn't they have it? They have to watch they have to watch the World Cup. Mike, like repent, okay?
I mean,
Yeah.
what more is there to say, to be honest?
Oh, it's so good. I really like it. I'm probably gonna watch it again this afternoon because it's just a genuinely delightful film. You watched it with me and my cousins, and I hadn't seen it
I
for
did.
years. So it was
Yeah.
like watching it for the
And me
first time again for
neither.
me.
I think it
Because I
had been a
remember
while.
you telling me, I think we were on our mission still, but you telling me, you ever see that movie Flushed Away? And I was like, I think once, yeah. And you were like, I also saw it once, but it's like a couple of lines have just been adapted into my family's dictionary. So you were
Uh-huh.
telling me
Well, I
like
had
how you and
definitely
your
seen it more than
oh well you like you were telling me like your family had several lines that you used regularly from it.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's I mean like how it should be.
Yeah.
People should be quoting it
People should
all
be
the
quoting
time.
it a lot more.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was another thing I was going to make a comparison to Rango is there's also a Greek chorus following the
Oh,
story. And
yeah.
sometimes the characters interact with them and are like annoyed with them.
Yeah.
And that's really funny. The Owl
Not them.
Mariachi Band in Rango?
Why are more choruses not playing beautiful ranchera? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, actually.
Yeah. Like I'm always saying that.
Yeah, that's real. Make your character designs like a little bit weirder. Make them so you will get comments being like, why'd they make them look like that?
Yeah.
Both movies got those.
Hmm.
Both movies, arguably, flawless because of that. Get used to it. Okay?
Yeah. Listen up, Michael, once again.
Yeah, I mean, it's just very funny. There are a couple really clever references. Like you've got the have you seen my dad? Fish in the
Yeah.
sewer. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. And it's like,
Um,
it's not Nemo. It's definitely not Nemo, but it's just a little orange fish. Just like a different one. It's just a different orange
yeah.
fish. No relation.
No. Actually, it's weird that you even brought Nemo up. Like who even said him,
Yeah.
you know? But yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It's far from a waste of time. If you watch this movie, you will actively enjoy it. Oh, that's what
Yeah.
I was gonna say. You watch this movie with a couple of my cousins and my brother,
Oh,
and
yes. It was
all
so
of them
fun.
are
I loved seeing their
they're
reactions
so
to it.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
because Hannah and Grace, they both fall asleep pretty consistently when I put on a movie, which is fine. It's dark and we're cozy and we have blankies. I would never
Mhm.
blame them for that.
I
This
get
one
it.
though, they all stayed up
They were
the
wide awake.
whole time. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's funny. Yeah.
Yeah,
We should
it
do
is
Surf's
funny.
Up too at some point. That's a good when's Hi, little baby kitten feed. Oh,
You do this all the time. You say, pick me up, pick me up, pick me up, and then I do, and you don't know what to do. So like, make up your mind. You're so baby. Oh my goodness.
oh my gosh. I need to be holding a kitten right now or I'm gonna die.
You know, you easily could be.
They're so sleepy.
Oh. Well, you can look at them admiringly. That might help.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah. You were saying we should
Yeah,
do um
we should do
a
Surf's
different
Up.
movie.
Have you seen Surf's
Oh,
Up?
no.
You should watch it. That's another one where it's like, this movie is about surfing penguins. That sounds ridiculous. But also the
Yeah.
voice actor for Napoleon Dynamite is in it, Shia LaBeouf, Zoe
Mm.
Deschanel. I would say that the voice acting is not as prime in that one as it is in this one, but
Uh-huh.
I
But
mean,
that's fine. It's a
it's
movie
ending.
about penguins.
Yeah, and it's such a shock how much I enjoy it every time. It's not dumb. It's like genuinely so funny and cute and good. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know. That's much of my opinion. Though.
Well,
Yeah,
I probably have to watch it and then we can talk about it. I mean, I guess I don't
I'll put it
have
on
to
the
watch
Excel
it.
sheet.
I could just, BS my way through. Not that I have
You
ever
could.
done that before. I would never do that.
No, and I would never accuse you of that.
No, 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 no. Because I've never done that
Mm-mm.
before.
No. No, you know most things about most things.
Uh-huh, that's true.
Mm. Yeah. My cats have decided that um because I slept on the floor again so I could be with them last night. And
Uh-huh,
I woke up this morning to both of them sitting on my head, on my face.
uh-huh,
It's one here, fighting each other.
uh-huh,
And I said, maybe you could go here. And I moved them off. And then I laid back down to go back to sleep because it was like 5:30. And then
uh-huh.
they both decided, No, actually, we were perfectly happy where we were. And so then I spent the next 3 hours with them on my head and running up and down the length of my body,
Uh-huh.
fighting each other and chasing each other.
Yeah.
And
That's
I
why
was like, I can't
you
even be
need to
mad
have a
because it's
nighttime
adorable.
boundary.
But yeah, because they're nocturnal. And I know this and I accept this about them. And I'm a really deep sleeper. So usually, hi, hi. So it doesn't bother me for the most part. And I could actually go back to sleep pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I'd wake up for about 5 minutes at a time, go back to sleep for another half hour, and then like,
Hmm.
you know, whatever we have to do. It's like it's good. Well, I don't think I have anything else to say about Flushed Away. I recommend it. Like if you're looking
Yeah.
for a good hour and a half,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
perfectly pleasant way
What
to
I
spend
can't
some time.
stress enough is that this
Hmm.
movie is a really good length because it's not too long.
No,
And we always say,
really
like, I
good.
know we keep recommending these like Indian
Yeah.
films that are 2, 3 hours long, but they're an exception to the rule of it should not be longer than 90 minutes. The actual
Yeah.
rule, if we want to be pedantic, is that if a movie is longer than 90 minutes, every additional minute has to be completely worth the time.
Yep, that's true.
And so they're
Hmm.
not really an exception to the rule because they follow that rule. Like they're
Yeah.
using their time really well when it's long.
Hmm. This one, and real quick too, I'll say the character development is really well done. Roddy, they
Mhm.
do a really good job about making. I can't believe I almost didn't even mention this. Roddy is like the most spineless
Yeah, he's horrible.
creature, but he's not like completely unlikable either. He has no integrity whatsoever. He switches like he betrays Rita immediately after he meets her. Then he betrays
Yeah.
Toad, and then he's like trying to leave with Rita, and he's like, "What's the plan?" And she's like, "What the hell are you on? I'm leaving."
Yeah.
Like you turned
Like you're
me
not a
in.
part of this. Yeah.
No, and then he steals her
Yeah.
boat due to a misunderstanding.
He's
But
just
like the whole
only is thinking of himself and can't even comprehend the
yeah.
fact that somebody else might just do something for someone else's benefit. Like he's never
Yeah.
experienced that before. and he can't really comprehend it.
Yeah.
Because he is quite stupid, but he's not, yeah, like you say, he's not
He's
completely
not
unlikable. Like he has a
malicious.
certain
Yeah.
charm, and you can tell
Yeah.
that he he thinks that he is a good person, you know?
Yeah.
Like he's
Yeah.
not trying to be a bad person. He just doesn't know how not to
Right.
yet.
Like I think of
Yeah.
the scene where he meets Rita's family and he's like kind of overwhelmed by like, oh my gosh, this is like a home. This is like a home.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just an empty house, it's a home. And then everyone's kind of teasing her about like, oh, Rita and her boyfriend and
Hmm.
her dad's like, you're finally gonna make an honest woman out of her. And he's like, we're thinking of a June wedding. And he's like
Yeah, he just
totally he's like
immediately plays
leaning
into
into
it. He's
it.
so funny. And she's like,
Yeah.
so, oh, but he's like,
Oh,
the
thank you
grandma is
so
like, you look
much.
like Tom Jones. And he's like, okay, I'll be Tom Jones. Like, sure. He'll
I hate that when
immediately
they
play
play all
along
the
because he
forms.
just really wants to be included and he loves this like family vibe. And so he's
Yeah.
gonna he's gonna become a part of it.
Yeah,
Obvious.
absolutely. Like he was kind of slimy at the beginning, but he didn't know any better. He didn't know, hey,
Yeah.
Toad's super evil and he's not a good person and he's planning on doing like a
Yeah.
rat genocide or whatever. And like Rita's kind of rough and gritty at first, but like she's really kind of soft heart. She's super sweet
Yeah.
and she loves her family and she'll do anything for them.
Yeah.
Including leave your sorry ass behind.
Yeah.
Unless she made a promise, in which case she's gonna keep it. You know?
Hmm.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Um, the thing I was
Um,
good. I think I brought. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
oh, this it might be the same thing when you're talking about like he says goodnight in this big empty house and the only goodnight he hears back is an echo. But then later he's on the boat with Rita and they've eaten their maggots and then he goes to bed and he's like, "Well, good night." And she says goodnight back and he's like, "No, hold on. Did anybody else hear this?" And so then he like says it again in a
No,
different he's like doing funny voices. He wants to
he
hear
does it
it
like
back
5 times.
as much as he can and she's like, "Shut up." Like
Dude,
I
good
said
night.
goodnight. Because she comes from a family of,
Like a
27.
thousand.
And so she's like, she hears the good night from all 27 people every night. She's like, she doesn't need it. She's fine without it,
Hmm.
but he's never experienced it before. So he's like, keeps saying it again in a funny voice. And you can see like his need to fit in and belong. And also that
Hmm.
he's just kind of a playful guy. Like he's a performer and he's never been able to actually
Yeah.
have an audience until now.
Another connection with Rango.
Interesting.
Interesting. But yeah, I mean, he's endearing, and especially as you go on, because you do see how much he grows and how starved he is for that kind of connection. And
Yeah.
aw, good night, Rita. Yes, good night. Like it's so cute.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so adorable. And like what I love about Aardman is like he's really good about doing like those kind of romances, a little bit of enemies to lovers there at the beginning of like I super hate you. Same thing with Chicken
Yeah.
Run. We've got I just decided
Hmm.
I don't like you, and she's like I just decided
I just
I don't
decided
care.
I don't care.
What a
Yeah.
movie of all time, relationship of all time. I'm not kidding. I love them so much. And
And someone had to say
like,
it.
yeah,
Mhm.
it was always coming back to this. We're always going back to Rocky Ginger from Chicken Run.
Obviously.
Um, I love that. But like, and same thing here too, where they kind of get on each other's nerves at first, but then they have to rely on each other and they really work hard to respect each other and see each other's strengths. And then I love seeing her trust Roddy. It's like such a conscious decision of like, you say you know what you're doing and you haven't in the past and you've really messed up. And she's just like, trust him and let's go. She doesn't
Mhm.
bring any of that up, but you like watching it, you're like, I mean, would you? Like she turns
Yeah.
to the audience like, audience, what would you do in this situation? Like
Hmm.
it's like giving him a gift, you know?
Yeah.
And from then, like he made a really good choice and it worked. And so from then on, they can rely on each other more and more and more. And they just have a really good relationship, however you want to read into it, because they don't like overly, they do a little bit lean into the romantic, like we have one moment where they're both swinging wildly around and it's slow
Hmm.
motion and the slugs are singing because there's a slug Greek chorus and that's
Yeah.
funny.
Like,
But also it's kind
keep
of
this in
cheeky
mind.
in a
You
way.
have to remember that that's happening throughout the whole movie. It's like Greek
Yes.
chorus.
Yeah.
Can anybody hear?
It's not
Yeah.
overdone,
No.
but
But it's
like
present.
it's yeah. And perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like it's not it's what it reminds me of is the scene in Wreck-It Ralph where Fix-It Felix Jr. and what's her name? It's
Vanellope?
not Jamie Lee Curtis. No, she's the badass general lady.
Oh
They're in
yeah,
the
that
Laffy Taffy vines.
yeah.
Yeah, and they're like there's hearts around them and they're all singing la 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 la, and then she pulls out her gun and goes like that's enough of that. But like it was
Yeah.
still a romantic moment, but then the
But
ship is
just for a
flying
moment.
around wildly. Yeah,
Yeah.
just a little wink. Like we know. It's
Yeah.
kind of cheesy, but it's also kind
You
of
don't
cute.
have to talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I love it. I love it.
Was there anything else that we wanted to say? I don't remember. I
We
feel
didn't
like
really
we've
talk
pretty
about
much said it.
LaFrog much, but
We've
like
said
yeah, there's not
everything that
much
we
to
need.
say.
He's French.
He's French.
Yeah.
End of
My
sentence.
stupid English cousin. Yeah, he's the Toad's cousin. The Toad's French cousin.
Funny.
And,
So funny. His name is
well,
LaFrog because
his name is
his
LaFrog because
Toad's
the
name is
Toad.
the Toad.
Yeah.
LaFrog. And that's
Yeah. It's like
funny.
the
Eh,
Stig. Like, it's the part of the name. The edge, Just how it is. Yeah.
yeah, he's fantastic.
Oh, we can talk
He's
about Marcel. Marcel is one of the French henchmen, for short Frenchman, and he's a mime, but he has a cell phone strapped to his body. Marcel, get it? Funny. And so he'll like one time the toad like calls LaFrog and he answers the phone, and so the toad's head is the top because it's a flip phone, the top of the cell phone, and then Marcel is like acting
headbanging
out
him.
and making him dance and whatever, and he's so silly, and he's like, "Stop being silly! I'm trying to be so serious right now." And Marcel
But
is
he's
like,
also like dramatic because
"Yeah,
that's Sir Ian McKellen, and so he's a dramatic character,
yeah,"
and Marcel is playing into that. But from his
but
perspective,
kind
this is
of
just how
wrong.
he is. He's so serious. Like,
Yeah,
take me seriously, but you're being
he
silly,
is
and
ridiculous.
he's being silly because you're being silly, and that's really
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
yeah,
They also
yeah.
introduced that by saying, but first, a word from our sponsor. And watching
Hmm.
this in today's like ad drenched world, I genuinely thought for a second like we were gonna
You're like,
break into
wait,
an ad.
what?
Genuinely. Yeah. And
Flushed
so
Away was sponsored by Squarespace? I didn't know they could do that. Yeah.
they're going back in time and incorporating ads into old movies.
No.
By the way, the only in movie ads that I accept are the ones that like they broadcast, I think in Mexico, where they have like they have cutaway shots where the characters are like yeah, do you know the ones I'm talking about where like Obi-Wan is showing Luke the lightsaber for the first time and so he reaches into the crate to pull it out, but then they switch into an ad for just a second and it's Obi-Wan pulling out a beer.
Uh-huh. That is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really funny. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Those
funny.
ones,
Funny.
funny. Funny joke.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Anyway, other
But it
than
does
that,
kind
I
of fill
don't
you with
hmm,
a brief feeling of dread. And then you're like, oh wait, no, no, no,
scary.
no. This was made. Yeah, we're
Mm-mm.
fine.
Yeah. Yeah, we're okay for now.
Yeah.
It's good. Watch it
Yeah.
right now.
What are you waiting for? Hello? Obviously you have a device for viewing. So what are you waiting for? Watch it right
Yeah.
now.
You start yours and then I'll start mine like 10 minutes later.
Yeah. And we'll ascend together. That's how that saying goes.
Yeah. Andy Serkis is he's Sar actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
LaFrog is Sar character.
that's true. Not as character as Katappa, but
Obviously
very
not.
character. Obviously. Like he's the character. And it was so fun. Like Caden was like, what does that mean? And Whitney was like, you don't know what that means? Like character.
He's so character.
He's like super character.
That's like that one day that I was at work and I was like, this is like movie of all time. And
Yeah.
someone was like, I think you forgot an adjective there. I was like, actually, I didn't. I said
No.
what I said.
That's the whole
Like,
point.
it's the
I left
most
it out on
movie.
purpose. It's like in
It,
MASH. I know that you haven't seen this yet, but in MASH season like 2 or 3, Trapper John gets a custom suit made, and then the reveal, like this is like a very super minor detail at the beginning of the episode, Chekhov's gun style, at the very, very end, like right before credits roll. They're like in Henry Blake's office, like talking and drinking or whatever. Trapper knocks on the
uh-huh.
door and says, "Hey, you guys want to see the pinstripe suit of all time?" He says that
He
in
says that.
1972. You guys want to see the
Wow,
pinstripe
the
suit of all
pinstripe
time?
suit of all time.
Yeah.
I
So
can't
when we say
believe
that
MASH
MASH
invented
as a
humor.
show is so ahead of its time, this is what we mean. It literally invented comedy. You guys want to see the pinstripe suit of all time? Anyway, he says this because he walks in and the stripes are horizontal instead of vertical. Very funny.
That's funny. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I, I mean, that show is fantastic from,
It is.
the 1.5 episodes that I've seen and the numerous baby girlified Hawkeye edits that I've seen.
Yeah.
Um, I
He's
also
just
can't
like
believe
that
like
sometimes, though.
he really is.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
I just like him a lot. Everyone on that show that I've seen, again, which is not a lot, but
Yeah.
like there was a therapist character whose name I think was Sydney,
Uh-huh.
and he
Yeah.
was, I mean, I loved him. He was wonderful.
Yeah.
So like so casually dry humor. Like he had a mustache.
Hmm.
And just like he's just like a side character. That's just what the side characters are like.
Yeah.
And so the
It has some
main
of the best side
characters,
characters of all time. The main
yeah,
characters
yeah,
are, tying this back to our earlier conversation, super bisexual.
yeah. I can't. That's what I
So
was gonna
that's
say.
awesome.
I can't believe how queer this show is.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like pretty
And
gay.
like obviously through like a modern lens, you're free to interpret things and whatever, but it's also like sometimes pretty direct. You're like,
It was
oh,
it
like,
was just like that.
yeah. And a show filmed
Yeah,
in the early 70s about the 1950s, and they just were like, yeah, we'll just go for it. Incredible.
yeah, yeah. It's like sometimes people read into stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
As someone who has watched Supernatural, and again, I'm not proud of it, but like that's one of the shows that you watch and you're like, oh my gosh, it really was just like that.
Yeah.
Like
Like
they
they
weren't
really
making that
did that.
up.
They actually
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing with Hannibal. That was like a show that wasn't really meant to be gay at the start of it, but then by the end, the director was like, actually, they're right. Let's do this. And then they made it
Yeah.
like,
They really
you
lean
know,
into it and just make it kind of more
yeah.
overtly queer. Yeah. And good for them,
Yeah. And this,
giving the people what they
and
want.
good for them. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And MASH is one of those shows that I'm like, sometimes I've seen people like on my dash talking about, oh, this character is like, like whatever. Um,
Mm.
and for a
Your
lot of shows, I
assumption
think you
is
could
that, oh,
say
people are reading too much into this.
reading into it, but then you watch
Yeah.
any clip of the show and you're like, oh wow, they were
No, they
underselling
super meant
it.
it. Yeah.
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 Yeah. What a show. Show of all time, really, maybe.
Genuinely show of all time. You guys want to
Yeah.
see the show of all time? And it's Trapper John walking into the room? That's just true.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
my list. I need a new show to watch because I've
Yeah.
currently gone
And this is
through
a good
every
one.
show I've ever seen. Yeah.
Hmm.
I
Because
also,
you
and I've
can,
told you
the
this
episodes
too.
are only 20
Hmm.
minutes, so you can
They're
take
short.
as short amount of time as you want, or you can just like sit down for
Hmm.
an hour and watch half of a season. You know what I mean?
Right.
Either way, fine.
And I was gonna ask you this too. Is it one of those shows like uh, sometimes people recommend like skipping the first season or anything? Is that like do I just start at the right at the top?
I honestly prefer to start just right at the top. Some people say like that you can skip the first 3 seasons because BJ comes in
First
season
three?
4. Yeah. It's like you don't
Hmm.
really need any of those episodes, but I like them. And I think it's fun. And then you get to kind of see the difference between like Trapper versus BJ that you wouldn't really get if you skipped like the bulk of those episodes.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
don't
I'm sure
need
like
any
people have
episode
like
technically, I think.
yeah, people
But
have
like
like a list of like the perfect order to watch them in or whatever, but I don't think it matters that much. The thing
cool.
is that like for the most part they could be played in any order because it's like the nature of war is that it's just never ending and it's horrible, but it's also mundane, so you can kind of like play around with the order that you watch them. But then there's a
Nice.
few key things that'll be like after this happens, then sometimes episodes will refer back to it. But yeah,
Okay.
for the most part, I would just watch from the beginning. I like doing it that way.
Good.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Um, I told you this a couple weeks ago too, but I'm also planning on watching the Fallout show.
Oh,
I feel that
yes.
one approaching. Like, you know how
Hmm.
like I can't avoid it. Someone was talking about it at work the other day, and I was
It's
like,
like
"Oh
when your
no."
bones ache before it rains, and like you can
Yes.
tell the barometric pressure, something's going on. Yeah.
When your ears pop, like,
You're like,
"Oh
whoops,
no,
something's
something's
happening. Yeah.
coming." Yeah. And the unfortunate thing is, I feel like I could be fairly neutral about the MASH thing. Like, I'm super excited to watch it. Not neutral, normal. Like,
Right. Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna be normal about it because
Like
it's an
you
old
could be a
show.
fan, like, because everybody's a fan. And that's like fine.
Yeah, because it's good. And like, you know, yeah, it's just something that I can enjoy to have on in the background. That'll be good. With the Fallout show, I think I'm gonna be not normal about it, and that scares me.
Yeah,
And I don't want to
that's
be not
okay.
normal about it. I don't even play Fallout, but
Yeah.
I just I can feel it.
Yeah.
So be ready for
Well,
that. And I'm sorry in
yeah,
advance.
we'll have time to prepare. It'll be okay.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Oh, I
anything's better
believe
than
you
the
for
Ravenous,
that.
right?
We can only hope. Oh,
My
funny.
parents were here
In
this
that
week
super
and they
long
were,
comment,
oh, go ahead.
oh,
What?
um, in that super long comment where the person was like, the probably the reason this doesn't have so many views is just that you were kind of late to the game. I was like, brother, you have no idea. This is the earliest we've ever commented on a movie. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Anyway,
majority are
your
at
parents.
least 20 years old.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my parents, because they were staying with me, they were helping me move in. Very, very kind, and I super appreciate it. And I don't have
Yeah.
Wi-Fi in my apartment yet, and so we were trying to figure out like, well, how can we watch like, I don't have a DVD player or anything, and so we were trying to figure out how to hook something up to the TV so we could all watch something.
Hmm.
And they were like, "Well, do you have anything downloaded on your phone?" I was like, "I have Ravenous downloaded on my phone." And they're like, "Do you have anything downloaded on your computer?" I was like, "I have Ravenous downloaded on my computer." And we were going through my DVDs, and I have a couple really good ones, but also they were like, "Why do you also have a Ravenous DVD?" I was like, "I can't. I'm like, you know me. You know me. You know what I've been talking about for the last 6 months. Why are you guys surprised about this? I'm not asking you to watch it. I'm just stating as a fact. This is all I have. This is all that's left
Right. This
inside
is
of me
all I
anymore."
have.
Yeah. I have been really proud of myself because I haven't mentioned it at work, and I also haven't even brought up RRR. I
Wow.
almost did because my coworker Zoe asked me, "Do you like what do you watch on TV? Do you like to watch any shows?" And so we were talking about
Uh-huh.
TV shows, and then I was like, oh boy, I'm gearing up. Here we go. Ready, ready, ready. Triple R. It's coming." And then we changed the subject, and I didn't get to bring it up. But
But
it's only been a week.
yeah, so you have time.
I've got plenty of time. Oh, I
Yeah.
got plenty of time.
They can be
Um,
told about Triple R in good time.
I've got interns there for 3 months, and then I'll have interns there every 3 months for the foreseeable future. I can spread this as far as it possibly can go. Also, did you know that apparently whiteout, when it goes on skin, it doesn't come off?
That's
So,
good to know.
yeah, pro tip, guys, don't.
Yeah.
Oh, this will be fun, and then I can just peel it off. No, it just doesn't come out.
Am I sharing my screen now?
Yeah.
Awesome. Harriet, you're so smart.
How'd she do that?
Well, she
That's
sat
incredible.
down on the keyboard and started licking her leg. And so now here we are.
college for IT.
Oh,
That's
so smart. She's gonna be a computer scientist.
I'm so proud of her. So baby, so kitty.
Look what you did. You proud of yourself? It sounded passive aggressive, but I didn't mean it to be. Okay. Anyway,
Bye.
bye, baby.
It sure is. We also haven't talked a lot about Julian Smith on this channel, and we'll talk about him more in depth later, but like I feel like we should just get it out of the way now. We love him.
Hi, Julian.
Hi, Julian. Hi. Big fans. Like no
Yeah,
one was
we
doing
were
it like him.
we were in middle school in 2010, so of course
Hmm.
we're very familiar with Julian Smith and we love his content. We were
Absolutely.
raised on him, in fact.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And now you go back and look at him again and you're like, that's actually so funny.
It
That's
holds up.
so funny.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not just
So, and the
funny because it was
quality,
what you watched. It wasn't just funny for watching it in middle school. It's like
yeah.
genuinely like it holds up. Yeah.
Yeah. Never get naked in your shower. Come on. Come
Yeah.
on.
That is funny. And I do like it does come into my head maybe every single time I'm at somebody else's house, like for long enough time that I need to shower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
If
one
not
that
every
come
time, then like every other, like pretty
yeah,
consistently.
yeah. The one that comes into my head pretty frequently is well there are two. Mr. Warner of Time Warner Cable from the
Uh-huh.
handbag video. That one,
Yeah, you were gonna
I
name a
mean,
cat Time Warner Cable because of that moment.
I'm still planning on it. It hasn't fit the two that I have currently, but that one's in the future. That or a
Yeah.
child.
Yeah.
And the second one is I'm gonna kill myself over this from the Milk video.
Yeah, over this. Yeah. Like the
That's
awareness
really
that like
funny.
this is
This
stupid.
is
This is a ridiculous
so
thing to be
dumb.
mad about, but I am so mad about it that I am gonna die on this hill and it's your fault. It's
Yeah,
so good.
yeah.
I'm gonna kill myself
It's
over
over
this. Mine is
this.
always from Mr. Tim when he's like at the
Mr.
windowsill and he's like,
Tim.
"Can I get your bathroom?" No, you cannot use my bathroom. How about your dryer? I'm soaking wet. And he's like, I'm looking right at you. You're not wet. I think about that all the time. Probably every time I'm at somebody's house for long enough that I need to use the bathroom. Can I get your bathroom? How about your dryer? I'm
I'm
soaking wet.
soaking wet. We love you, Mr. Tim.
Yeah, that
Like,
one and kill you.
kill you. Yeah. Or
Yeah.
jellyfish.
Mm-hmm.
That
Jellyfish.
is a classic. Yeah. The red light flashes twice.
Yeah.
Akbar, the corn.
Yeah,
Every
obviously,
video
yeah.
that featured the grandma. Listen,
Oh, of course.
Julian, we
She
love
was
you, but
fabulous.
like the grandma to me is what Amanda is in Drew's video. It's like
Yeah.
finally the star
Yeah,
is here.
she's
Yeah.
back. Yeah.
Grannies are for boning. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, so true.
Oh, good
Yeah.
catch. Anyway,
Yeah, red eye
yeah.
flashes twice. That one gets in my head a lot. All your
Hmm.
friends will hate you guys if you don't stand still. Your family will disown your butt and probably have you killed. If you have a
Sorry.
girlfriend, which we all know you don't. That's my favorite line. If you have a girlfriend, which we all know
Which
you
we
don't. But
don't.
if you do,
Obviously
she'll
not.
leave you and then you definitely won't have a girlfriend. That's so good.
Oh my gosh. How have we not talked about the Julian Smith video of all time, which, as we all know, is Eat Randy?
It's too powerful to talk about. We can't do it here.
No.
I had a
You
friend
haven't
named
seen
Randy in
Julian
high
Smith.
school. If you hadn't seen Julian Smith, start with Eat Randy, and then you know everything you need to know. I had a friend in high school named Randy, and he's a wonderful guy. We ran into each other again, like this was like a couple of years ago now, but we were at like singing hymns, and so he said an opening prayer, and he said, "Good evening, Heavenly Father." I had never heard anybody do that before.
Oh,
I was like, yeah, like
interesting.
I was like, now that guy.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's got a personal relationship with his God. So
As a man who
I'm just
thinks
saying.
about prayer, doesn't take it for
Yeah,
granted, says,
yeah,
I could start this however I wanted, maybe. Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm. That's
The
not what I was thinking
rule
about
is
yesterday
actually
with
just a guideline. Such a
Yeah.
good guy. Yeah, but we would sing that song to him every single time we saw him, which was several times a day because we were
Ooh.
friends at the same small high school.
Aw. Yeah,
Yeah,
he can't get out of that.
it's
He's
too late. Yeah.
yeah. And there are worse things to be associated with.
Hmm.
Yeah.
True.
Um, okay. Flushed away. We've got the
Yes.
big issues out of the way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Talked about Eat Randy. Can I say one more thing about Eat Randy?
Can
The
you
thing is, like,
please?
he's making it seem like these specials don't sound special to me. I'd rather eat Randy.
Oh,
Like,
God.
he sets it up as if, like, oh, the food is so bad that I would literally rather eat this guy, you know? But then over
Yeah,
the course of the video, it's like, no, he just actually wants to eat this guy.
he
It has
really wants
nothing
to
to
eat
do
that
with the
guy
restaurant. Also, Rhett and Link are just there.
as extras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
He's
these were the
got like
golden days where these guys would
these were
collab.
the days. Yes.
Yeah, like the one with waffles.
Yeah, that was
Link
good.
gets two waffles and I get two waffles. That still leaves eight
Eight
waffles for you.
waffles for you.
But I don't want eight waffles. I want
I want
12.
12.
Every
I
time I
want
get
12 of
12.
them.
I want 12 of them.
Yeah.
It's got
This
such a
and this is
twang on just the word 12.
12. This is the
I want
power of his
12.
videos, is that we both apparently still have them memorized.
Yeah, they're just so quotable. They really stick in your little middle school
Yeah.
brain, and then as you develop, they stay as like a central. It's like this is a load-bearing information in my
Exactly what I
brain.
was gonna say.
Yeah.
Yes. Load bearing a neuro, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a tube of neurons firing this way and that. You know, you
Yeah.
get it. You said it better.
Yeah.
I can't think of the word.
Yeah.
That's not
I
a
love
load
using the
bearing.
word load-bearing to just talk about stuff that like kind of matters.
I do the same thing. I made a joke like that at work the other day and like
Ugh,
crickets, which is
that's so
fine.
sad. That's so
Yeah.
sad. If I was there, I would have laughed. And I also
Thank
loved
you.
calling
I
things
know.
load bearing that are clearly decorative. I'm like, oh no, no, don't touch that. Sorry, it's actually load bearing. So it's gonna be a big deal. And it's just like a small trinket or like a painting on a wall,
Or
you
a
know? Doesn't matter.
we
Yeah.
dude, we had this like
We're so
rickety
in sync.
wooden
I know that we've
chair.
done this before.
Yeah, absolutely. So we had this rickety wooden chair at one of my jobs that I worked at. We just used it as a shelf, and
Mhm.
someone was like, "Man, we got to get rid of that chair." Um, and I immediately like launched it. And then no, 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 no! It's a load bearing chair. You can't get rid of that chair. It's like secured to
The
the
whole place will
foundations of the
crumble.
store.
Yeah.
So serious. And I actually really do like working with younger people because she took me so seriously. She's like, "Oh my gosh, really?"
You're like, there's not a big difference between 20 and 25 until you say, no, that's actually a load bearing chair. Be careful not to move it.
She's like, "Oh my gosh." I'm like, "Ashlyn, no, you dumb ass. I love you."
2 words, not even dumbass, but dumb
No,
ass
you dumb,
separately.
capital D, capital A, dumb ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I love when people
Really
are
good.
gullible for like
Yeah.
stuff that's obviously stupid, you know?
Hmm.
Like it's not like if you say something that's like kind of believable, it's like it makes sense. You're just tricking people to be mean. But if you say something that's
Hmm.
just absolutely 100% a lie, then it's funny if people believe
That's really good. Yeah.
you.
Yeah. It's fun. And people kind of like being tricked and goofed as long as you like
On occasion.
it's like Matt,
Yeah.
it's like a little treat. You can have a little treat. You can have a little lie as a snack.
Yeah. As a
We,
treat.
we
Yeah.
we have a little vent when we're giving like tours and some and
Mhm.
like you can feel air blowing up through it. It's clearly just a vent, but
Yeah.
we have people put their hands over it and say, "Oh, the metro line passes right under there." And people are like, "Wow, really?" And it's like, "No, this is the capital. You can't
Like, of course
run the
not.
metro line under the foundation of the Capitol building."
Yeah.
But
It's
like
like, where
everyone
would
believes that immediately.
it's not like they
Yeah.
built the Capitol build. They're like, oh, in a few hundred years, there's going to be an underground train, and it's going to have to drive directly through the middle here. So we got to build this foundation really strong on the sides and leave kind of a tunnel shape.
No.
No, of course they
You
weren't thinking
silly
that.
gooses.
And
Yeah.
they're not going to change it so that people who give tours of the Capitol can have a fun little fact. The
No.
train passes under here. Like, of course not. That's very funny.
It's very funny. And people love it. They're like, oh, you. I love giving tours because I have the same script. Like I have the same thing happened when I was a waitress. I just have the same jokes that I
Hmm.
use time and time
Yeah,
again. And people eat that shit up. And I love it
of
because I don't
course.
have to think on my feet. I just say, this joke isn't gonna kill because I've tried
Yeah,
out 50 other groups and it
yeah,
does.
that's so good.
Yeah.